us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your parent favor our blessings as your servants, whom you've been pleased to call leadership positions of this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. So good morning, honorable members, and welcome to today's session. I'll ask the clerk to read the order of business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, we have this morning response on statements raised by Honorable Anthony and raised by Honorable Gilbert Ngetich. So I'll give a chance to Chair Lance to give us a report on statement raised by Honorable Gilbert Ngetich. Chair Lance, you may table your report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir, for the opportunity you have granted me, Honorable Speaker, so that I can respond on statement which was sought by Honorable Gilbert Ngetich. The report was on statement raised by Honorable Gilbert Ngetich, MCA representing the great people of Kishara Ward, senior member, regarding the number of parcels of land handed over by the national government to Litein municipality, or in short, the Bureti sub-county, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, through your indulgence, you will allow me to start on 2.1, Mr. Speaker, on committal, that is on page 5, committal to Committee on Lands, Fiscal Planning and Settlement. Mr. Speaker, the statement was raised was committed to the Committee on Lands, Housing, Physical Planning and Settlement on 22nd November 2023. For further inquiry and reporting to the House within a period of 14 days. The committee therefore engaged the Department on Lands, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement, who responded on 5th March. Honorable Speaker, you will see the Annexure 2 response by CSM on in charge of lands, housing and physical planning. Mr. Speaker, it took a lot of time because when the statement was sought, we wrote to the committee, to the department for concurrence. But because of their delay nature, we were caught up by long recess, December recess, which we went until February, Honorable Speaker. And that is why you see, on March again, they responded, Mr. Speaker. Administrative units, sub-counties, division, and location. The county is composed of 6 sub-counties, which is namely Kipkelian East, Kipkelian West, Pelgut, Kericho East, which is known as Ainamoi, Sigawet Soin, and Bureti. The sub-counties are further divided into 15 administrative divisions, namely Ainamoi in Ainamoi constituency, Belgut, Kabianga in Belgut constituency, Bureti, Roret. In Bureti we have Roret and Chebor. Let me start it well, Mr. Speaker. It's divided into 15 administrative units, namely in Ainamoi in Ainamoi constituency. In Belgut, we have Kabianga in Belgut constituency. In Bureti, we have Roret and Cheborge in constituencies. In Sigawet, and so in Sigawet constituency, and 7 more divisions located in Kipkelion East and West constituencies. These are Kunyak, Chilchila, Kamashan, and Kipkelion in Kipkelion West, and Londiani, Londiani, Soget, and Gibson in Kipkelion East. Area of the county by sub-county. Mr. Speaker, there is a table there naming the constituencies, the sub-counties, divisions, area, and number of locations, and number of sub-locations, Mr. Speaker. So in Ainamo, Mr. Speaker, the area is 239.9 kilometers square, and it has 11 locations, Mr. Speaker, and the number of sub-location is 24. Belgut has an area, has a division called Kabianga in Belgut, which has a 307.4 square kilometers. It has 12 location and 27 sub-location. Sigawet Soin is in Sigawet sub-county. It has an area of 473.2 square kilometers, 13 location and 38 sub-location. Kipkelion West has 333 kilometers square and has 16 locations and 35 sub-location, Mr. Speaker. Kipkelion East has 774.4 square kilometers, which has 14 locations and 32 sub-location. Pureti is 321, which has 19 locations and 53 sub-locations, Mr. Speaker. So the Committee on Land, Housing and Physical report on the statement raised by Honorable Kiligan Ngetich concerning the number of percent of land handed over by national government to Litein municipality. Response from the county executive. According to records available in the Department of Land, Housing and Physical Planning, the following percent of land belong to Litein municipality. We'll see Annexure 2, which is a response. They are as follows, Mr. Speaker. The land for cattle dips in the sub-county are those ones, Mr. Speaker, in the table. We have Masore, we have Kamyongen, Sabai, Kipsamoy, Korara, Roret, Charera. Those are cattle dips, Mr. Speaker. Mabazi, Ngenda, Keregut, Kipsereti, Kimotio, Chemosot, Chematich, Merenget, Cheptangulke, Kipkesombe, Sukute, Kiebini, Kapsinendet, Qualiot, Kusume, Kielilis, Tutik, I think should be Putik, I don't know. Chemoiben, Chepkoyet, Megunyet, Siritiet, Gezegit, Kibugat, Kelunet, Chebwar, Kibwagit, Tabet, Sosit, Senetwet, Maburo, Chepkeyoy, Changelek, and Kapkatet. So in total, Mr. Speaker, we have 40 parcels of land in Pureti sub-county, which are under cattle dips, Mr. Speaker, and their values are, in fact, Mr. Speaker, we go to an extent because we wanted to identify identification of the land. The current username is is cattle dips, and then we have the fair value because we wanted to give the sort of the statement, the approximate value of the said parcel of land, and whether it is developed. So the following, as almost all of them are developed, and the plan, if it is planned, most of them are not planned, and the size, so the sizes appear, the sizes also we avail the sizes. The lands which are public land at Litein town are registered as Kericho Litein for 40.39 and 728, which is currently under housing. The status is developed in Litein town. Plan it is yes, belonging to an individual, and building belonging to government as offices and residential. Mr. Speaker, this is now, I think, this is where the intention of the sort of the statement. Mr. Speaker, there is a massive corruption in the Department of Land, Mr. Speaker. And if this department, if this county assembly, Mr. Speaker, will not assist the executive, which I think the executive is as on with the land grabbers, Mr. Speaker, we will lose our heritage and we will lose our properties, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, you find that a public land which sits in Litein town and it is developed, Mr. Speaker, and it housing, the Department of Housing, Public Works and Housing, Mr. Speaker, is now registered to an individual, Mr. Speaker. And the building belongs to government, Mr. Speaker. And I think that is a serious thing, Mr. Speaker, which I think what we need to do is to come up with this report and send the report to investigatory authorities, DCI and EACC, Mr. Speaker, because now the owner is claiming, the registered person is claiming that it's the owner of the property, is the owner of the property. And you know, the department are the one who are mandated in registering the lands, Mr. Speaker. In fact, even the property housing the Department of Lands is now under an individual. And it is an office of lands, housing, and physical planning, Mr. Speaker. That's a serious corruption, mass corruption happening in the Department of Lands, Mr. Speaker. Because, in fact, they are so daring up to an extent of allowing an individual to register their offices to belong to an individual. That's how serious mass corruption is happening, Mr. Speaker. Another serious thing, property, Mr. Speaker, is a property housing Kenya Industrial Estates here, Mr. Speaker. A government entity, a government parastatal, Mr. Speaker, is registered under an individual, and it is housing a government office, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the entire workshop, the entire houses belonging to KIE is now registered to an individual, Mr. Speaker, and an individual is using. Nowadays, an individual in Kericho is more powerful than the government, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, if we don't take these things serious, Mr. Speaker, we will be shocked to be told the county assembly presence is belonging to an individual. And they will get an order to evacuate us, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, these things happens during almost during the election, during the last administration, Mr. Speaker. And now as a Department of Committee on Charge, Mr. Speaker, we are working on it to know all the public lands from the department, and those which has been registered, Mr. Speaker, will do a report and now send to external investigatory authorities, Mr. Speaker, so that they can do more investigation, because we have no capacity as a committee, because the people who are in charge are conflicted, Mr. Speaker. People who are registering at the department, Mr. Speaker. So that is Litein. Number 2 is Kericho Litein /40 housing. It is developed in Litein town. Yes, it is planned. It is 0.35. It's sheet number 7. Kericho Litein number 39 under housing. Developed, yes, sheet number 7. So that is it. And then there is another one called Kericho Litein 728 housing. The value is that developed in Litein. Yes, it is planned 0.7. I think the sheet number is missing. I think this is at the verge of being grabbed again. Kericho Ketarwet 580, which is under defect. 163 developed under Litein. Yes, it is planned. Total acreage is 4. It is under sheet number 31. Jemosot Center, Mr. Speaker, there is one which is housing Tifet. Its value is 4.722. It is developed in Chemasot, and it is 0.4 acreage, and it is under sheet number 37, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, those are the lands within the Litein municipality under housing, Mr. Speaker. There is lands for dispensaries in Pureti. The following lands are as follows, Mr. Speaker. We have for Masare. The first column shows the registration. The second column shows the which is under the custodian or registered, or it's under the L department. Following is the value. Some have not been done value, and the location. So allow me, Mr. Speaker, to read on the fourth column on the where the dispensary is. Masare Dispensary, Rore Sub-County Hospital, Kiptawit Dispensary, Kiptome Dispensary, Jeborge Health Center, Kabitungu, Kapkisiara, Jeboin, Siongi Dispensary, Kibugat Dispensary, Tebesonik, Litein Health Center, Tulwe Dispensary, Chepterwa Dispensary, Rungu Dispensary, Chelilis Dispensary, Ketarwe Dispensary, Kalacha Dispensary, Chemosot Health Center, Kapoeto Dispensary, Kapkate Sub-County, Mabasi Dispensary, Kenene Dispensary, and Cheplange Dispensary, Sosi Dispensary, Kipsegu Dispensary, Kibostue Dispensary, Health Center, Kelune Dispensary, and Chemoiben Dispensary, Mr. Speaker. You see, Mr. Speaker, most which we have indicated the sheet number still as a clear document, Mr. Speaker, which only need to be completed and be registered. Those one which are blank, Mr. Speaker, you know these land grabbers, what they do, they go to the land registry. The first thing they do is to ensure that the sheet or the green card is removed. When it is removed, it deemed now that it is plain, it is not registered. And then they start initiating the green card. That is how they do, Mr. Speaker. So before we lose these properties, Mr. Speaker, I think it's high time, at the recommendation we have recommended, Mr. Speaker, is that the Department of Lands should now initiate the process of registering and titling all public lands, Mr. Speaker. And those which are as issues which are contentious, Mr. Speaker, is the ones now we are writing to the EACC and the DCI to start the investigation, the investigator, Mr. Speaker, and to help those culpable to be held responsible for their mischievous act, Mr. Speaker. There is lands and parcels of land under trade or markets, Mr. Speaker. One is Litein Town, Cheborke Market, Rored Market, Chemason Market, Chemasid Market, Cabrored Market, Kelelwa Market, Tebesonic Market, Kapkatet, Boutique, Kibwastuya, Cheblanket Market, Kiptawit Market, Tri Tamoita, Kiptome Market, Kapsimbiri Market, Jeboin Market, and Mobed Market. So those are the markets, Honorable Speaker, under trade, those are parcels of land under markets in Pureti Sub-County. There is lands, parcels of land for water catchment areas in Pureti Sub-County, and those are Jemararachi Drinking Water Point, Kettle Drinking Water, Riret Kettle Water Point, Menet Kettle Water Point, Ainamo Kettle Water Point, Chep Laor Water, Ainapkoi. We have Cheimen, Chepchirik, Chep Lagan, and then Kagibete, Morit, Ainap Chemwa, Chepucha, Saruriet, Tebeswet, Kipkutwa, Kipkaigay. So in total, Mr. Speaker, we have a total of 173 water points in Pureti Sub-County, Mr. Speaker. And I think this information is very critical to the representative, to the MCS representing Bureti sub-county. And how I wish most of them will be here and to have this report on their, at their custody, and at least to go and keep in the files of in their offices so that it can assist them, Mr. Speaker. And going forward, Mr. Speaker, I think they should now go an extra mile of inviting our county surveyors to go and put beacons on this and to identify for them. And it should be notified to the members of public that these are water points, these are dispensaries, these are parcels of land belonging to the public. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, if it is left, it will be grabbed, Mr. Speaker. There is lands under T-Buying centers, Mr. Speaker, and we got 8. We were able in our records to identify 8 parcels of land, Mr. Speaker. Chaimen Tipanda, Teveswe Tipanda, Jebwagan Tipanda, Chepterwa Tipanda, Kipsagu T-Buying Center, Kimwagit KDDA, Taiwa KDDA Panda, Tevesoni, Mr. Speaker. So these are the lands which were handed over by the national, the transitional authority to county, and it is under Bureti sub-county, and it is under T-Buying centers. There are parcels of land for early childhood education development under schools, Mr. Speaker. So we have, I will not read all of them, but we have in total 22 in number, which are under early childhood education, and it was transferred, Mr. Speaker. So, and it is cutting across the entire, Mr. Speaker. So allow me, Mr. Speaker, to read the recommendation, the committee's observation, that the Committee on Land, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement made the following observation, that the county is endowed with enormous resources in terms of land, building and natural resources. You have seen, Mr. Speaker, how it is enormous. Just few in one sub-county, you have seen how the resources the county has, Mr. Speaker. Number 2, most of the parcel of land were unsurveyed, Mr. Speaker, and this impeded the determination of ownership, Mr. Speaker. So most of the land, Mr. Speaker, are not surveyed, Mr. Speaker. So we could not ascertain, Mr. Speaker. Number 3, a number of encroachment were noted, particularly on unsurveyed parcel of land. And that is why I was saying, Mr. Speaker, how I wish all the members of Bureti sub-county MCS were here, Mr. Speaker, to have this report, to look at this report, Mr. Speaker, and to see this parcel of land, and to ensure that the surveyors in county go and survey this parcel of land, so that we ensure we safeguard this number of land, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, large chunks of land remain designated for certain development projects and the program, but have remained undeveloped or undemarcated, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, there is other lands which were not designated, and it has remained. So, Mr. Speaker, those are the lands which need to be surveyed and to be registered, Mr. Speaker. Ownership titles and land registration number for the some parcels of land and buildings were not verified, Mr. Speaker, because it has been tampered. The 6th one is that there were buildings on different local authorities' land that belong to the national government, religious organization, and the community, Mr. Speaker. So there is building on different local authorities, land that belong to national government, like the one in Litein. You know, it is housing Kera. Kera is a national function, Mr. Speaker. Some of the recommendation we recommend, Mr. Speaker, is that the Department of Land should fast track the development of a policy on the management of all county public land across the county, Mr. Speaker. One of the reasons which has led to this, Mr. Speaker, is that we don't have clear policy on the management, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, some of the land which was which was transferred to county, Mr. Speaker, without proper designated to which department it belongs, Mr. Speaker, has been left idle. So now the management is a problem because now we don't have a policy on the management of this parcel of land, Mr. Speaker. So I think some of the, one of the critical things which the department should come up, Mr. Speaker, is a policy on the management of these properties, Mr. Speaker, so that it can guide on the management, Mr. Speaker, so that at least if there is no designated, it is registered under the county government, Mr. Speaker. And I think, Mr. Speaker, in fact, if the department are not in a position, Mr. Speaker, I think this county assembly and our EPO secretariat, Mr. Speaker, should assist us in coming up with a policy or a bill on ensuring that we safeguard the management of these assets, Mr. Speaker. The second one, Mr. Speaker, is that the county should develop inventories of all assets at the county headquarters and sub-counties, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, one of the things is to do inventory, Mr. Speaker. And the inventory should be backed up with automated inventory, Mr. Speaker. Because some of the inventories was done, if it is not backed up with automated or digital inventory, Mr. Speaker, these land grabbers are very smart. They go and misplace the file and then they start afresh. So, but if we have the inventory and we have the digital one, you know, it is very easy, Mr. Speaker. And I think there is more which should be done on the registration of parcel of land. There is a window for the land grabbers, Mr. Speaker. Because one challenge we are having, Mr. Speaker, is we still have national government, a Department of Land Housing under national, and we have the Department of Land Housing under county, Mr. Speaker. So the two, Mr. Speaker, should work concurrently, Mr. Speaker, so that to avoid these losses, Mr. Speaker. So I think it's high time, Mr. Speaker, and as a committee, I think I endeavor to have a meeting to call both the teams of the national and the county, Mr. Speaker, so that they can come and give us clear reason why some of the public lands has been grabbed under their watch, Mr. Speaker. Number 3, the department should fast-track survey of all parcels of land, secure titles, and face them to avoid encroachment by unscrupulous individuals, Mr. Speaker. So these are the recommendations which they should fast-track, Mr. Speaker. One of the problems we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, we make some of the good recommendations to the department, Mr. Speaker. But I think the departments are not serious as such. They don't take recommendation from the county assembly serious. Otherwise, if these recommendations were being taken seriously, Mr. Speaker, we could have avoided some of these issues, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, one of the challenges, if the parcel of lands are not secured with title deed, Mr. Speaker, we will lose some of these properties. Remember, Mr. Speaker, recently, Mr. Speaker, when we wanted a land to develop a county integrated development, county integrated industrial park, one of the requirements was that the land should be titled under county government, Mr. Speaker. Out of the 1,000 chunks of land which belong to the county, which we claim it belong to the county, Mr. Speaker, doesn't have a title. That is why we had to do a lot of work in ensuring that it was only 2% of land, the Kabianga Tea Farm and the Kapsarok, Mr. Speaker, which only has the title. Even the gifted 80C, so in 80C, the entire chunk of land is not registered. It has no title. The entire Londiani lands, right now we have a problem. The Ministry of Agriculture wanted to develop a school of agriculture in Kericho County. One of the requirements, they want a registered land. Do you know what? We don't have. The money is available, but the land is not available. We have large chunks of land, but it is not registered. The one they have identified, so that you see these people, the department are so not serious, Mr. Speaker. The land which they forward to the assembly for approval is the land which is allotted to Biretram, the Biretram department or Biretram Ministry of, it's Biretram department in the Ministry of, Mr. Speaker. And you know, we cannot reallocate the land which is allocated to another department. So what we are going to do, Mr. Speaker, we are going to reject their proposal so that they give us another land, because we cannot rubber stamp so that it can come and become a problem in future. So, Mr. Speaker, those are the things, the recommendation, where I wish this recommendation could be taken seriously so that we safeguard these parcels of land. The fourth one is that the department should do official land searches on all county public land and report back to the county assembly within 14 days from the date of adoption of this report, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope when we adopt this report, Mr. Speaker, within 14 days, we need the department to furnish us and to furnish this house with all the official search for all county public lands and report to us, Mr. Speaker, so that we have in our register, Mr. Speaker. The fifth one is adequate funding should be provided in the next financial year budget to enable the department undertake surveying, registration, physical planning of all public and county public land across the county, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this is now an appeal, Mr. Speaker, which Chairman Budget is here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to implore to the members of the Budget Committee, for us to safeguard these public lands, Mr. Speaker, on this budget we are working on, I beseech this Honorable House to allocate funds for the purpose of enabling that the department undertake the surveying, the registration, the physical planning of these all county public lands, Mr. Speaker. There is a public land in Kipkelion, Mr. Speaker, Kipkelion ward, Mr. Speaker. It's over almost 1,000 acres. It is not registered. It is not, physical planning has not been done. The entire county. So we will inquire from the department the appropriate budget they will require, and I beseech the honorable members of the Budget Committee to allocate funds, and we give them timeline on how they will fast track the registration and of these lands, Mr. Speaker, so that we safeguard for posterity, Mr. Speaker, because we don't want in future that the lands were grabbed under our watch. The sixth is that the county should develop all land parcels designated for various projects and programs. Those designated should be developed. The department should prepare BDP plans for all town centers and markets in our county, Mr. Speaker, which when we allocate the funds, it will assist us in developing BDP, Mr. Speaker. The county should engage the surveyors, engage the service of caretakers of idle land person with clear terms on engagement to safeguard them from land grabbers, Mr. Speaker. The last one is that, the last but not the least, is that the county government should conduct validation and tagging of all its assets, Mr. Speaker. So those are some of the recommendations, Mr. Speaker, which we recommend, and how I wish, Mr. Speaker, this recommendation will be taken seriously, Mr. Speaker. And I think your ruling after this, Mr. Speaker, should be made clear so that these recommendations are taken seriously, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, those are some of the parcels of land which we managed to identify as per the statement which was sought by Honorable Kilpan Ngetich, and how I wish because we were limited, we were not able to identify the lands in the entire county, because the statement restricted us on only Litein municipality, but we digressed a bit so that we identify the lands in Litein in Bureti sub-county. So I think going forward, Mr. Speaker, we will furnish this house with all the public lands within the entire county per sub-county and per ward, and I think going forward, those are we will so that honorable members will know the available lands in their areas of jurisdiction, and to ensure that we all safeguard these lands. So, Mr. Speaker, allow me to take this opportunity to thank all members of the Land, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement Committee for their input and valuable contribution during the committee meetings. The committee also takes this opportunity to thank the officers of the Speaker, the clerk, for their logistical support accorded to it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the Land, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement Committee, and pursuant to our standing order number 205, it is now my pleasant duty to present to this House the committee's report on the statement which was raised by Honorable Gilbert Ngetich for the consideration and approval by this Honorable House, Mr. Speaker. So I table the report, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Israel Ngetich, for your report and statement. And honorable members, as you're aware that a statement that has been tabled is not subject for debate because it's not a motion. However, I'll give a chance to the person who saw the statement just to tell us what he feels about the response, so that I can make a directive on the recommendations that have been put forward, and also what is to be done, because this statement truly was looking at one municipality, but as been said by the chair, is that this land issue is across the county. So let me give this chance to Gilbert Ngetich to give his remarks on this particular response on his statement. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to really comment on the report tabled from the statement I really sought some time back. Thank you for the committee for the work they have done. We've identified some lands, but my statement, Mr. Speaker, was very specific to a particular land trapped in Litein town, where the public works resides, where the building of the public works is really existing. And I've tried to check about that particular land. I wanted to know that the rumors going around at the moment is that someone wanted to come and fence some 1 year ago. Someone who really worked for this government of Kericho County, wanted to fence as a private land. Yet there are buildings for public works, Mr. Speaker. And I'm seeing one number, the observation. There were buildings on de facto local authorities' land that belong to the national government, religious organization. I don't know whether this is the land, but at the moment I have not known the fate of that land, whether it is really owned by an individual or it is still a public land, because at the moment we do have public resources bestowed to the land. Another land in which I was citing was a land where hatchery is situated in Roret, because I've really been approached by the owners of the land where the hatchery is built, Mr. Speaker, and they are complaining about that particular land, of how it was acquired to an individual again who was working in this government, Kericho County government, and eventually landed in the hands of Kericho County government, where hatchery is built now. And the owner of the land is somehow is really negating some things. There's no agreement in that particular land. I told them to bring the agreement to me to check. There was no agreement to illustrate that we own that land as a county for us to really give us an allowance to build a project of that nature in that particular land, Mr. Speaker. So those two lands were the kind of land I wanted really to know their status. And since the report has come and I've not known, I think I'll request again, Mr. Speaker, that the Committee of Lands to really work on those specific two parcels and let us know as a county the fate and the existence of those lands. Thank you.
Maybe as you take a seat, is that in your statement, I'm looking at the reference of your statement, is that you asked 3 questions and they were general in nature. So unless you would have given the committee probably, I don't know, maybe you can clarify, because I'm seeing there were 3 questions here and they were not specific to the 2 parcels of land. So perhaps you could have also hinted to the committee.
Mr. Speaker, when I was tabling that statement,
Yes.
it was general. But when I was doing it, I became more specific.
Okay.
I think everybody was here, unless those who were absent. I made clearly the kind of work I expected the committee to give me. And I really became specific. I wanted it to be general, but
Yes.
I had some specifications.
specific.
That is why I raised.
Okay. All right.
And although it is general, as you've said, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
this report is more confined to Buret.
Yes.
But I'm not actually getting the clear picture of those lands.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. So based on that response by Honorable Gilbert Ngetich and the Chair Lands, this is my directive that since the committee has done a good job on this particular issue, and since the standing order, I want to read the standing order number 205, but 5 on the sectoral committees, on which I want to give directive on the same, is that the standing order 205, part 5, part E says that the sectoral committee will investigate and inquire into all matters relating to the assigned departments as they may deem necessary and as may be referred to them by the Assembly. And since the issue at hand has been raised, I want to direct that using this same standing order is that the Committee on Lands therefore is directed to further further inquire on the specific issues raised by Gilbert Ngetich on those specific lands in question, so that on your own motion you can still supply this House with the details of those specific land. And secondly, is that this particular statement focused on Litein municipality, and therefore again on your own motion on this standing order, also I'm directing that you also do for all the entire sub-counties, all the parcels of land, and give us a report of the same, the way you have done so for the Litein municipality, including all the sub-counties and all the municipalities. So the Committee on Lands, on this part of this standing order, you are now directed to do the same for all the other municipalities within Kericho County and supply this House with report, with the report of the same. So be guided and refer to this standing order I've just mentioned. So, honorable members, we have the next statement, next report, which was raised by Honorable Anthony Ruta, and this report will be tabled by the Chair, Roads, Honorable Gilbert Ngetich, so that we can also move on. So, Gilbert Ngetich, you can table the report on statement by Honorable Anthony Ruta.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity once more to represent a committee of Public Works, Roads and Transport to table a report which was sought by Honorable Anthony Ruta, MCA Kipkeli and Ward. And Honorable Speaker, we were supposed to have tabled this regular report, but this report became a very serious report after visiting the site to an extent of us inviting the CEC and the CO to give an elaboration of what happened, what transpired in this particular road, which was done last term, Mr. Speaker. And after our scrutiny, this is the reporting which you've made with the committee. And with your guidance, Mr. Speaker, where do you think I can start this report?
Start from committee observations 3.0.
Okay, observations.
From observation, yes.
Okay. 3.0. Okay. Since honorable members do have the report, you can know matters pertaining ownership, the membership, how the road was named. But in the observation, Mr. Speaker, as per the County Assembly Committee member in charge of Public Works, Roads and Transport, the response to statement sought, the committee made the following observation. The first road was Ngendalel Center, Kipsimbol Nursery Road. This road is actually done 3.5 kilometers. It was supposed to be 3.5. I think there is a typo error in that particular writing. 3.5 kilometers. In this road, Mr. Speaker, 1.5 is really done well, 1.7 is shoddy, and 300 meters was just opened, graded, but no marraming, Mr. Speaker. The contract was awarded to Teku North Enterprise Limited, and the awarded contract value is 3,520,910. Number 2, Sekuton Primary Road, Round Road, Sekuton Primary School. The road is named Sekuton Primary Round School and Tamarsat Piners Road. The total combined length of the road is 4.1 kilometers. That is as follows: Sekuton Santos Road to AIC Road. Total length is 2.6 kilometers. It was graded, gravelled, and compacted, and it is fairly in good condition. Piners Tamarsat Road is 1.5 kilometers. It was graded, gravelled, and it is in a fairly good condition. The contract for the combined roads was the contract for the road combined was awarded to County Tech Company Limited, valued at 4.9 million. In this road, Mr. Speaker, is where there is a problem again, where in the 1.5 kilometer road, 700 was done, 800 was not done completely. No grade, no opening, no grading was done in the road. But full payment were made, Mr. Speaker, in that particular road. That is the value of 4,969,156. Number 3 is Tuyabay, Kap Ngeno Road. Total is 2.3 kilometers. The road is named Tuyabay to Aram Ngeno to Tilolwet Road. The road was graded, gravel, and compacted. The contract was awarded to Mogu Investment Limited, valued at 2,609,944. Number 4, Machei Sok to Cab Edward Road. The road is named Kibiro to Machei Sok, Mitimoja, Blue Hills Deep, Kimologi to Blue Hills. The roads are totaling to 8 kilometers and were only opened. The contract was awarded to Rochiland Enterprise Limited at a value of 3,794,800. Committee site visit, that is in Kipkelian Ward, on the road stated in the statement. The committee made an oversight visit to the roads in the statement sought in Kipkelian Ward on 23rd November 2023. The photographs are annexed there, and found that most of the mentioned roads were narrow and non-motorable. Piners Tamarsat Road, which is 1.5 kilometers, 700 meters was done, 800 was not done. Number 3, Kipsimbol Ngendalel Road, 3.5 kilometers. Within the 3.5 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers was well excavated, graded, marram, and gravel, rolled and compacted. 1.7 kilometers was poorly done, and 300 meters was not marramed, though opened and created. Number 4, no drainage structures installed to manage stormwater during rainy season, i.e. culverts. Number 5, bush clearing, grading, graveling, rolling, and compaction were poorly done. Number 6, there were no proper designs according to the roads topography. And number 7, the roads were done in the financial year 2019-2020 under framework contract works including opening, grading, marraming, rolling, and compaction. Committees meeting with the county executive member in charge of public works, roads, and transport on 29 February 2024. The committee held its meeting with the executive member in charge of public works, roads, and transport, who acknowledged the invitation regarding the statement raised and gave the following to the committee. That 1, he had a visit to the roads raised in the statement. The department is under. Let me repeat, Honorable Speaker. He had made a visit to the roads raised in the statement, and the department is understaffed to deliver on its mandates. That is what he said, as far as the staffs they have. Number 2, the roads were done under framework contracting in financial year 21-22. That is from the year 19. From the year, the roads were done in 2021/2022. Therefore, much of the works were done on work ticket, with a challenge with Ngendalel Road, where the contracted supplier were to deliver on the number of hours and not the road. And number 3, the area member of county assembly people, representatives, should raise an alarm to the Department of Public Works, Roads, and Transport wherever the road works has been poorly done, for immediate follow-up by the concerned personnel in the department. Mr. Speaker, those were the talks which the CEC and the CEO and the team were really giving to us. Then I go to committee recommendation after all checking all this, visiting the site. Mr. Speaker, the committee, having considered the response from the County Executive Committee member in charge of Public Works, Roads, and Transport, and the site visit to the said to the road, the committee recommends that number 1, the County Executive member in charge of Public Works, Roads, and Transport develop, maintains, and manage transport infrastructure, facilitate efficient movement of goods, to facilitate the efficient movement of goods and people, while ensuring environmental suitability in terms of bush clearing, including strong institutional framework for roads and infrastructural development, budget for construction of culverts whenever a road is being designed or PQs are made, and the drainage structures with the aim of accelerating the speed of completion of the department's priority. Number 2, the county executive member in charge of public works, roads, and transport to ensure contracted suppliers of goods and services are competitively sourced, including close supervision by the department, so that the department projects are delivered as agreed, with full adherence to the road construction and structures under the guidance of Bill of Quantities specifications. Mr. Speaker, number 3, the county executive member in charge of Public Works, Roads, and Transport should submit to the county assembly departmental quarterly reports on the projects being implemented for each financial year and their scope of works. Number 4, the county executive member in charge of Public Works, Roads, and Transport to identify the challenges they are facing during construction of county roads, including the workflow for the design process, competenciness of project implementation committee, availability of materials, availability of equipment, that is during the faring weather condition, site location, ability by the identified contractor to undertake the works. Number, 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 number 5. The people who effected the payment to contractors or a contractor under the mentioned roads in Kipkelion be compelled to justify the payment of works not completed, and the county executive member in charge of public works, roads and transport institutes disciplinary measures against them, and upon approval of this report by this House, the report be copied to state investigative agencies to follow up the matter. Mr. Speaker, the reason as why we made such recommendation like the last one, Mr. Speaker, is that we went to an extent of trying to inquire from the contractor who are really working in Kipkelion. And whatever they could actually tell over the phone, they really refused to appear in the meeting like what the CCs did. They really decided to talk to clerks over the phone to illustrate that they knew the mess they really did in Kipkelion Ward. And in this, Mr. Speaker, it shows that they agreed with the team who are doing, who are really verifying the work done in Kipkelion Ward. To also add on it, Mr. Speaker, there are teams who are really there in the department, who are in the cycle, who are approving the payment by giving completion certificates and the rest. These are the people who are not supposed to be working for us, Mr. Speaker, at this era, because they can redo the kind of mess they did in Kipkelion. Because now these contractors refuse to appear in the eyes of the committee, we've really copied this report. We want this report to be copied to other agencies to investigate. We have also up to and including the kind of when they came to the committee, there were some documents in which they were supposed to give us to illustrate the payment, but we have the same, and that is why we really recommended that this matter should be taken to other agencies to do an investigation, because a mess was done. To really mitigate this is that we should have those staffs who are approving the payment not to work for the department as we progress. Acknowledgement. The committee wishes to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Assembly for the necessary support extended to it in execution of its mandate. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is my pleasant duty, pursuant to Standing Order number 205, to present the report on the statement raised by Honorable Anthony Ruto for consideration by this Honorable House. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity, and I've tabled the report to really have a response to the statement sought by Honorable Anthony. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair Rhodes, for the report on the statement that was raised by Anthony Ruto, and the recommendations here, as you mentioned, are watertight. So I'll give a chance to Honorable Anthony Ruto, who has also been mentioned in this report that he should be this section whereby the county executive committee member, that you as the area MCA should raise an alarm. So you should also tell us why you did not raise an alarm earlier on, and also tell this House if the particular response is sufficient as far as you are a member of Kipkelion Ward where you represent them. So I'll give you this chance now to react on this, and so that we can be able to conclude. Welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. For giving me this opportunity so that I may also make some few remarks concerning this statement that I brought to this Honorable House. First, Honorable Speaker, sir,
allow me to appreciate Committee on Roads, Public Works and Transport for a well-done work. Honorable Speaker, sir, I want to big point 1, 2, 3 things. First, Honorable Speaker, sir, much has been captured in the report, but there are some mistakes, some few mistakes here and there. Under 40, which says committee's site visit. The last one, number 7, the financial year 29, number 7 says the roads were done in the financial year 2019-2020. That one is contradicting number 2. So in other words, number 7 is wrong. The roads were done in 2021-2022, to be precise. Honorable Speaker, sir, let me start with Ngendalel. Ngendalel is well captured by the committee. In responding to number 3, for not being proactive in terms of oversight. Honorable Speaker, sir, I blew the whistle immediately when the road was completed. In fact, there was a time I told the contractors,
there's a point of information from Honorable Cheriat Bet. All right, I'll allow that. Please take your seat on the router.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I heard the honorable member saying that the road was done in the year 2021-2022 financial year. But the committee, Mr. Speaker, after doing the investigation, has reported to us, Mr. Speaker, that the road was done in the financial year 2019-2020. Mr. Speaker, who are we supposed to follow between the honorable member and the committee, Mr. Speaker? Kindly assist me to understand. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right. I will give the chair of the roads to department to clarify, because in your report you have 2019, 2020, and 2021. So for the sake of clarification, I'll give you a chance to clarify.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I was busy trying to know this, because the kind of person whom we need to trust is the honorable member, Honorable Anthony Ruto. So it can be a typo error. I'm still inquiring with the clerks. Thank you.
Another point of information by Honorable Hans Ngetich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think, Mr. Speaker, there was some identity came between the department and the department, Mr. Speaker. Because some of the things which could have given us a certainty of the exact is the annexures, Mr. Speaker. You know, we should be having annexures. We were requested annexures of the payment forger, inspection, and what have you. Those are the now which could have clearly given us the clear picture. According to the presentation by the department, Mr. Speaker, They say it is 2019, 2020. That is when the contract was awarded and when the works were done. But according to the area MCA, the works were done in 2021, 2022, Mr. Speaker. So I think, Mr. Speaker, we are now in between a hard and a rock, because the presentation by the executive said the roads were done in 2019, 2020, and that they were claiming that even the supervisors, the project managers were from the last assembly, last regime, Mr. Speaker. So now we...
Actually, I've seen in the report, the people claiming it's 2019 is the Committee on Roads. The CEC, from this report, 4.1 is giving us 2021, 2022. But 4.0 is the committee's visit. See, 4.0 is the Committee on Roads. 4.1 is the county executive. So 4.0, which is the committee site visit, is giving us 2019, 2020. While 4.1, the CEC is giving us 2021, 2022. So this confusion, in my own view, is the committee, because you can see clearly 4.1, the CEC is saying 2021, 2022, but 4.0 is where the committee made a site visit, and they've told us in number 7 they were done in 2019, 2020. So this appears to have been the committee's oversight, and the chair, you need to honor on this, because it seems like you didn't do a due process. Kindly.
Thank you. I've also confirmed with the payment vouchers. I have at least in my phone, the one which was forwarded, it is a typo error. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so that's okay. Please, we need to rest and we need to move on because of time. Kindly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I understand that we are behind schedule. Mr. Speaker, we now need to be, such contradiction, Mr. Speaker, amounts to a lot of issues, because one, Mr. Speaker, I know once you've done the report, Mr. Speaker, the committee, a very serious committee, Mr. Speaker, ought to have proofread the report so that if there are errors, then they correct, Mr. Speaker, because, these are, when we do not get the exact information, Mr. Speaker, then it amounts to mismanagement of the public resources. So my question then, Mr. Speaker, is it the typo error? So that then means it is now the clerks of the committee. And the clerks are here, so they need to up their game, because these are very serious. When we change the financial years, then it means that we are not going to get the real information on when this road was done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, but I rest my case.
Okay, that's noted, and it's noted. I'll give you a minute, Matthew Korir, so that we move on. We need to finalize on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for making us understand the typo error from the committee. But I think the committee also has done good work to give us this report. But, Mr. Speaker, the latest information that we have received also from the chair road is that he has some vouchers on his phone. If it is possible also for this report to be strong enough and watertight, I think can be attached as annexure to the state.
Thank you. That's noted. That has also been raised by the chair for lands, that the committee did not attach the annexures of the same, which would have clarified. And Chair Roads, I'll give you a chance, because there's a directive I'll make also on this particular statement. But before I do that, I want to give Anthony Ruto to finish his remarks so that we can conclude. Anthony Ruto, you're on the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. The truth of the matter is that, Honorable Speaker, sir, the roads were done in the financial year 21, 22. Raising of alarm. Honorable Speaker, sir, I had stated that I raised concerns, serious concerns from the word go. I took time to tell the contractor to redo the road. But all those words were not taken seriously. In fact, there was a time again I went with the former CEC roads to the same road. And he was able to ascertain that the road was poorly done. As if that one was not enough, I went again with the current CEC roads to the same road. He was able again to agree that the road was poorly done. As if that one was not enough, I went again with the committee led by my brother Gilbert Ngetich. And they were also perturbed with the way the road was. Out of one, the road that was supposed to be done was 3.5 kilometers. 1.5 kilometers was done well. 1.7 kilometers was poorly done. 300 meters was only graded and nothing was done. That one is Ngendalel Kipsimbol Nursery. Sekuton round, 2.6 kilometers. The road was graded, marammed, but it was never compacted. It is impossible. Tamarsat Painas, the total number of kilometers, 1.5 kilometers. Only 700 meters was done. Well, marammed, graded, marammed, and compacted. 800 meters was never done. Machei this one was done, but culverts were never installed. The same thing applies to Tuyabek, Tilolwe Karamwen. There was a time again, Honorable Speaker, sir, one of the contractors commended negatively that if the MCA is not satisfied, he can go to EACC. Meaning that he was not respectful in any way. That is why I decided to bring this statement to this honorable house, so that justice can be done to the people of Kipkelian Ward. So that at the end of the day, they can be able to see the file of their money. I want to agree with the committee in the last recommendation that actions should be taken against those people who endorsed the payment of the same. All the roads have been paid. Full payment. So they should, stand action should be taken to engineers and all those who endorsed the payment of the same. So that this one can be a lesson for others. But if no action is taken, then there is no need of raising statements in this house. Then we have become toothless as an honorable house. This is a serious matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute, Honorable Chariot Bed. And be just specific on your indulgence, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, the honorable member has raised very grievous issues concerning these roads, Mr. Speaker. And we are just sitting here, Mr. Speaker. The honorable member of the committee has said action should be taken, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think it should be very loud that someone was given work, road was not done completely, and someone was paid in full. I think that should come up so that the people of Kipkelion knows that work that was not done was paid, Mr. Speaker. And the actions that we need to be taken, I just want to advise the honorable member that if the county government does not take the action, of course, it is in this answer, Mr. Speaker. I also expected the committee to have indicated that if the county government does not take action so that we recover this money that belongs to the people, then the other investigative agencies must be invited, Mr. Speaker, and people be called upon to the court statement and pay for the money that they took and work was not done. I think we need to be very serious. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, as I said, I was also wondering that this statement, the road was done in 2021, 2022, but the statement is being sought around towards the end of 2023. So maybe as members of the county assembly also, we also need to take be a little bit serious on our oversight role, even at the ward level, Mr. Speaker, because after that length of time, 3 years down the line, Mr. Speaker, and then you are seeing a statement, Mr. Speaker. I thought the statement should have been sought immediately when the contractor left site so that at least some measures can be taken, Mr. Speaker. Those are just my observations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Having heard the response from the member of County Assembly for Kipkelian Ward, who also saw the statement on this particular matter, on your remarks on this particular issue, and also the chair, that is Chair Rhodes. He's a stranger, Sergeant at Arms. A stranger coming through a strange door. All right. Before I was interrupted, so like I was saying, is that having out of the same, I do agree with the sentiments of the Honorable House, and I just wanted to ask the Chair for Roads to clarify one thing on this recommendation number 6 on these investigative agencies. I want you to be specific so that once this report has been adopted, the House is well guided so that they can be given this particular information. So just want you to mention these agencies so that we know when you say by investigative agencies, who are these talking about for the record of this House, so that we conclude. So kindly, Chair.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. The investigating agencies includes EACC, to be specific, all right, DCI, who are really mandated to do a great investigation pertaining the sinister that happened in Kipkelion, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also see a request, Mr. Speaker, that I want to make the report, request that the report to be forwarded to the others, to the department with full annexures of payment forgeries and that clear recommendation of EACC and DCI within a period of 21 days. We want to see an action within that period. I will do what it takes to ensure that I include that one in the report as it is to be forwarded to the department. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you, Chair. Thank you for that clarification, and also the suggestion of the 21 days, which also the Committee on Implementation will be mandated to make follow-up. And I want to ask that jointly with the Committee on Implementation and Roads, please make follow-up on this particular recommendation that has been made, because as has been said, recommendation is only good when it has been implemented and has been been followed up the same. So the two statements which has been raised, which has been tabled this morning, I want to say that all the recommendations for the two statements which were tabled this morning, all the recommendations should be followed up keenly, and I'm urging the Committee on Implementation to be on high alert to ensure that all those have been made, have been followed up to the letter, because as has been said by Honorable Anthony Luther, is that this House will only have its honor when what has been dispensed has been followed up and implemented. And I think that's where our mandate as a House will make sense if we do that. So thank you, honorable members. We have come to the end of our business this morning. And since we will be having, the budget committee will be having an engagement with the CC Finance and the entire team shortly, we shall not have a session this afternoon, and therefore this assembly stands adjourned until next week, Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.